Okay, so I want to say a big welcome to everyone. Uh, Thank you for coming around. For you coming around, of course, it shows a lot. It shows that really you have a whole lot planned ahead of you. You have plans towards what we are discussing, and you are willing to take action. So I want to say welcome to everyone. I know all these names look like those who are coming for the first time, and that's really good. I mean, I love that. So I want to say big welcome. Sorry we're starting late. Um, I went to drop my people somewhere. And I came to school uh, to do some. I came to school to do some stuff, so I quickly went to drop them somewhere and then rushed back. I was driving so fast on the road just to make sure. I meet the time. So I would say you are very much welcome. Um, so uh, this is what we do. We used to do this. We do this every month, or let me say almost every month, and then we talk about how to make your dream of studying outside Nigeria, or whichever country you are. You want to study in the US, Canada, or some parts of Europe. How to make it possible. So, and I know some have been following on Twitter and have been receiving some tips and all those stuff. Here, what we do is we take those questions, all the questions you have, we take it and we answer all those questions. We answer all those questions based on. So I will start by introducing myself just in case of, for those who don't know me, I'm Samuel Ajayi. I'm doing physics here in Florida State University. I'm a PhD student. And as you can see behind me, these are some of our bad guys. That's stuff we use in the lab. Yeah. Okay. So we want to discuss two things today. In addition to the questions we take, we also want to talk about this issue. We've had many people go to some countries to study, many Nigerians, and then they run into problems, things happen, and it becomes like a case of trafficking. It becomes like a case of trafficking, and then we've had many issues around that. Many Nigerians fall for those scams. So first thing, we quickly discuss that before we move into assistantship. We quickly discuss countries that you should not even, all those agents now, they just say, oh, we arrange it, you travel out of Nigeria, you will study in so one foreign country, and the person gets in and discover that the passport has been seized, the person is working as a slave or as a sex slave, whichever way. So we want to quickly dissect that. Some places you should not even think about, when some red flags that you need to observe, that you need to take note of when those agents are talking to you about all this. So I met agents in Nigeria, I've met them, I've seen how they talk. They'll say, oh, we get it for you. They look so sure, whereas it's something else that is going on. So I want Isaac to quickly introduce us into this, to talk on this, those terrible stories, those terrible countries that, someone say, oh, so Cyprus, so this and that. Majorly some countries in the Middle East, and maybe some Southeast Asian countries and all those stuff.
Okay.
Or before that, let me apologize first to, if you have sent me your SOP and I've not responded, it's because I've been terribly busy, especially in the past 1 week. We had a baby this last 1 month. I'm not sure, I didn't tell you, Isaac.
Oh, congratulations.
I only told some few folks.
Congratulations.
So it's been a very busy time. Baby, class, research, all those stuff. So please, I've been able to review only few SOPs. So that's why I tell you, when you send me a message, I tell you, I'm not sure I'll be able to answer you ASAP. Just bear with me, okay? But we have many other wonderful people on Twitter, some very wonderful guys who are doing a great job reviewing statement of purpose. So I will always, whenever they talk about SOP, I always share it so that you can bombard them with your messages and your SOPs. They will do justice to that. Okay, let's have you, Isaac.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Isaac. I'm doing my second master's here in Germany. I'm doing scientific computing, more or less like an intersection between maths and computer science and engineering. Yeah, I've seen, okay, my last experience was exactly a year ago in November when I visited Nigeria, and I was on my way back to Belgium because I was in Belgium before I moved. And while I was trying to like sort out my bags and also get my luggage weighed, and then I dropped everything, and then I moved back, and then I saw one young guy and a young lady together with their mom and their auntie. They were speaking my dialect. So I said, "Are you from so place?" They say yes. So 5 minutes after, they were like, they're going to Turkey, they're going to study and this and that. I said, okay. So I quickly checked what they were doing. They were actually in the wrong airline and standpoint. So I have to like direct them to the other side. I got to Belgium because we also exchanged contact. And then the boy called me, Anthony, was like, bros, this is what is going on, or this is what is going on. First of all, they were told that their bachelor's was going to be in English, and also there is scholarship for them. And then this is two people, him and the younger sister, and these were their barely 20. And then the next thing he told me was like, they can't go to school. I said, what is going on? Why can't you go to school? He said they couldn't, they've not settled. I said, you've not settled, but this was in February. That was like 3 months after. And I was like, what is the problem? He said, yes, that they've not settled, they've not even gotten hostel. And I asked, okay, where are you now staying? Is that they just dumped all of them in one slum, and they were like, And I'm like, what is happening? He said, yes, that one, it was a scam. Two, the government said they have to go and learn Turkish language if I thought they need to go to school, because they couldn't go back. So they said they have to go to Turkish school. Now they also have to pay for the Turkish lessons. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is the problem? So it means for us, they have to look for how to get in touch with whichever authority. And I said, okay, probably you have to get in touch with the Nigerian embassy if it becomes too difficult. In essence, why do we hold this sport? Because we've seen people that run into problems. I'm not a fan of Turkey to start with. I'm not a fan of Turkey. I have a friend who is a pharmacist, and the husband is a medical doctor. Even him doesn't really subscribe to Turkey, because him himself and the family that find a way to live. In all, you might be able to get, if you are at all you want to go to Turkey, get in touch with the school itself, the university itself. Read every document before you start making any application, so you don't get yourself into a problem. I'm looking at Northern Cyprus, or whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
My colleague in Capital Field, I worked Capital Field in Lagos before I left. She actually did her bachelor's in communication in Cyprus, to Mediterranean University also. It was later told me that
that's quite a popular school in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's a popular school. That's why she's told me that she's actually not staying in Cyprus. That is really complicated. So when I saw Northern Cyprus, and people are already having issues and the rest. Please, before you try to do everything, because especially within everyone knows about US and Canada, but in Europe, it's not really. There are places you don't even bother going. Don't. Just be careful before you make an application, or before you take out these schools or these countries, because one, you don't know their legal standing, and you don't know if they are part of the United Nations or what else. Because whatever happens, there's nothing you can do. You can't sue them. It's only Turkey that recognizes Northern Cyprus. So and Turkey himself is at war with Christian countries, or with even the UN itself. So you might end up finding yourself in a difficult situation. And then we also have some people talking about Ukraine and Russia. Russia is also okay. You don't need to worry about Russia. The only thing you need to do for Russia is you need to confirm if the program is in English. If the program is in English, then you don't have a problem. But we also saw some medical students who were posting that they didn't post their result, or they were having issues until they started protesting. So henceforth, if you are applying to schools like that, try as much as possible to first of all know the update as the school decided to do the right thing or not, so you don't have problems. You can always check all these things on Google. Some of them, they have Facebook pages. And then Ukraine, Krakow, I've heard of Krakow, they have a good school there. So the thing is, take out your time, especially for countries that are not popular in Europe. Countries that are not popular in Europe, pay attention to them, because you might end up going to a wrong country, or a country where you are not even supposed to go to. And these guys are quick to give you admission. Many of them, the competition is actually not there. So they are easily ready to give you admission, and then they bring you in, and then you start facing some challenges, you start facing some difficulties. And mind you, they're actually there to collect money from you. Not that they actually want you to study and get the money. No, you can't. That's one face of it. Now, something I want us to understand again is, many of us with if I cannot get immigration, if I cannot get PR, I will go through education, right? So the essence that when we leave, all we just need to do is, okay, we will get the studies. After the studies, we'll start working. But I think in Canada and US, not I think now, I'm sure, in Canada and US, after your education, you have opportunity of staying, maybe postgraduate work of 18 they give. But in Europe, it's not all the countries that does that. Not all the countries that does that. So, which means in some country, if you study, once you are done with your study, it means you have to start living immediately, maybe after 1 month or after 2 months.
Yeah,
So it means you have to go back to Nigeria again and start struggling again.
UK used to do that.
UK used to do that before when they find out that they're losing money to international students, and then they start trying to okay, let's bring it back.
My friend finished his master's in UK, and he came back to Nigeria and he started teaching in a secondary school.
You can imagine you can just imagine, and how much can they pay? And I also give
He's in the US now, anyways.
Now he has to find his way out again. You can imagine the process.
While I'm
and then,
you.
Sam, welcome.
I did, sister.
Okay. Then another thing that happened, another country is Belgium. Belgium is a good country. They pay well if you have a job, or if you get a PhD, they pay well. But one thing you can do in Belgium is that in Belgium, the average international student has more than one master's. The average international student has more than one master's. Why? This is what they do. When you are done with your master's, there is no window for you to stay.
But I saw on Twitter that they have a new residency plan in 2021.
No, that's for British. That's for Brexit, not for students.
Oh, okay.
So what they do is that normally your resident permit ends October 31st every year. So which means normally you have to renew every year. And you cannot renew if you don't have enrollment letter from the university.
Or a job.
You get it. And then, so what you have to do is that if you finish your first year, if it's a 2-year master's, if you finish your first year, you get enrollment from your students' online portal and the rest, and then you enroll the second year again, bringing your guarantor, whatever. But now, if by the end of second year, you're able to finish either, if you're finishing in June, it means you have July, August, September, and October. So either get a job or get a PhD or you leave the country. If you cannot finish in June, maybe you have to round up your master thesis in August and then defend the first week in September. It means you now have only that September and December and October 31st. Either you get a new job or you get a PhD. Now, what people do is that by the time they are done with their first year, by January or thereabout, or for some, what it is that once they graduate, they quickly take a second master from their university. But if they are going to choose from another university, they just quickly apply with their first degree, with their first degree and the ongoing or abridged transcript from their current university, just to make sure they remain in the system. So also pay attention that, okay, after this, especially if you have a long-term plan of staying in that country. Like, of course, if I should enter Canada, what am I coming back to do? Or if I should get to US, where am I coming back? Or if I'm here in Germany, come and do what? I will be patronizing Nigeria back from abroad. I don't have to stay here.
A loyal citizen in diaspora.
So those are the things you need to pay attention. That this country, am I ready to stay? Yes, if I'm staying, okay, what does the policy say? Okay, do they have something for students once they graduate? Are they able to integrate properly? Like in Germany, they give 2 years after your master's. In fact, if you are coming from Nigeria for a PhD in Germany, by the time you finish your PhD, you're already getting a permanent residency. You don't need to apply. They just call you or send you a mail, come and pick up your PR because you're already eligible for it. And the next thing is your citizenship. One funny thing in France, there are 2 years master, you can do it for 4 or 5 years. Now, whether you graduate on the 5th year or you don't graduate, they will give you the French citizen because you stayed 5 years. Legally, you've stayed 5 years legally. So that's what they do. So why in Netherlands, they give you 1 year to stay after your studies. So understand that you can't spend millions to leave Nigeria and then after 2 years, you are going back and then you start working on the street and looking for a job. Please, God will not let us go back. Oh. It's not 1 step forward and 10 steps backward, please. Thank you.
Powerful information. Powerful information.
Right.
Powerful.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
So please, let's just take note. There are some countries, they are just so, I've had stories of people become slaves in countries, some countries, or because they just want to leave Nigeria, I don't tire for Nigeria, and they just want to run out, and then they become slaves in another man's land. Some, they even seize their passports so that they won't be able to.
Yes, they seize their passports. Like in United Arab Emirates also, they seize their passport. Like this guy I was talking about, this guy from your school, the guy did his master's in King Fahad University, and the guy just ran away and went to
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. The guy was like, he's even a Muslim. He said, no, he's not going to stay.
And now, he's in Canada now. From Hong Kong, he has now moved to Canada.
Oh, so you need to pay attention to all these things.
He's in postdoc.
He's doing his postdoc in Canada now.
Yeah, I know the guy.
He used to come to US now. He's my party. We finished together in UI. We finished together in UI.
I can't imagine after the OT, you are now rushing back to and start doing one classroom in secondary school teaching.
So please, let's pay attention to all those. And let me tell you, this application process is something you can do yourself. All these agents, their mouth is too sweet. See, their mouth is so sweet. I'm telling you, everything is what you can do on your own. And that's why we create platforms like this so that we can talk about everything. Now, I perceive everyone, like most of the names I'm seeing here, are very new people from those we've been having in past. So I will quickly rush through the process from the beginning to the end, and then I will allow you to ask questions. In asking your questions, just introduce yourself, talk about yourself, what you do, what you are doing currently, what you studied, what you plan to do, and then ask the question. Okay, it's just a way of getting to know each other well. It's like we want to build something like a community. And after this meeting, if we followed each other from Twitter, then we will quickly follow each other and then keep the communication going. And then because when we rise by lifting others up too. So I'm here. I will talk about US very well. Sam will talk about Canada. And then, of course, Isaac has spoken about Europe. He will talk more about Europe if you have some other questions. Okay, so US, basically, the application is in 2 rounds. You have the spring admission and the fall admission majorly. And then for international students, many come in fall. And fall is the August start time, the August resumption. Spring is the one that happens in January. And for fall, you start your application process a year before, like at least 12 months before. In fact, let's say 12 months before, because you have to prepare to all your application documents. When I mean application documents, the first thing to do is look for a school, search for a school. In US, the way it works is this. You don't really need an external scholarship, okay, to be able to study. What you need is just an assistantship from the school, okay? You need an assistantship from the school. So first thing is you ask yourself, which course do I want to study? Someone says, okay, I want to study physics. That's me, physics. Okay, the next thing is, how many schools are offering physics in the US? You start searching for schools offering physics. And then you start looking at their requirements. For each of the school, look at their requirement. And that's, for me, I see it as one of the most, I mean, it's hard work. It's one of the tedious work you have to do in this application process. You search for the schools offering your course. When you get the schools offering your course, you look for their requirement. That's why periodically on Twitter, I just post some stuff that I know offering a certain course. I just tweet the schools so I know offering a certain course, and then so that people can check and see if they if they have the requirement. So you go through their requirement, the lists. You want to see, okay, do I have this? Now, many schools in the US generally, they request for GRE. Some schools request for TOEFL from Nigerians. They request for statement of purpose. They request for your transcripts, and they request for reference letters, 5. That reference letter will be given by your referees. That's why it is good to be nice to your lecturers in Nigeria. I used to recommend you send a monthly message to them just to greet them so that they know you. They are teaching you in class. It doesn't necessarily mean they know you. You remember Nigeria and our large class. It's not possible to know all the students, I mean, on a deep level. So send messages to them so that they will write something good about you. Now, your transcript is what reveals your GPA, grade point, and all those stuff. Your GRE, it's an exam that you have to write. You register for it with ETS and you write the exam, and then you get your score. It's out of 3, is it 340? Yes, 340. But I have someone who recently wrote an at 320. The guy sent me, it's someone I used to know from Nigeria. He has sent me his SOPs for how many weeks now. I've not been able to go through it, but I'll go through it. He also studied physics. So I would love him to even come here. So your statement of purpose is what highlights you. It's like your selling point. It's like you saying, see, this is me. It's like you introducing yourself and what you plan to do. It's like you saying, this is what I have. This is what I can offer. And this is what I will do with this admission. It's like you begging them, applying for their assistantship, saying, offer me this assistantship. That's a statement of purpose. Your reference letter is what your referees, reference or recommendation letters, is what your referees will write for you. Those beautiful lecturers that you have in Nigeria, those smiling, unselfish, those very wonderful lecturers you have in Nigeria. You know, we don't have sadist lecturers in Nigeria. So those are what those lecturers will write for you. So you have to befriend them. By befriend, I don't mean boyfriend, girlfriend. Though. You have to be close to them. Okay, so, and I usually recommend sending a monthly message just to greet them. Send that message, even if they are bad people. Massage their ego. Everybody loves their ego to be massaged. Okay. Now, the reason is this: in the US, it's possible to have a low CGPA and still rank high in the admission pool. They don't joke with recommendation here. Oh, they don't joke with recommendation at all. So if you have someone write a beautiful recommendation for you, and I mean that's superb, then your research experience will be one of the things they want to look at. It is in your statement of purpose that you write everything about your experience, your research experience. This is what we have been able to work. This is what I've done. Okay, before this is how I got to be involved in what I do now and all those stuff. And this is what I plan to do later in life, later in the future. It is in your statement of purpose that you include all those things. And then after all those ones are done, after the submission, then they can decide to offer you admission or they decide not to offer you. Now, when they decide to offer you admission, it's either they give you funding or they don't give you funding. Now, this now comes down to the type of schools you will choose. For me, I recommend choosing schools that you know have funding. And I demonstrated this the last time that we met. I think I will just quickly demonstrate it again. How to know schools that have funding. When you go through, when you go through their website, you can actually know if they have funding, or if you go through some other channels, you can actually know if they have funding. For example, let me share my screen to see an example. Okay. This is cheating on my screen. All right. Where should I start from? For example, let's say you are studying physics. This is a link I give physics people. gradschoolshopper.com. Okay. Now this is Grad School Shopper. What it brings out is a list of, I can search for schools based on browse programs by, I can search to see, okay, those that require GRE. Not all schools require GRE. I can search by those that require TOEFL or admission deadlines or financial aid, specialties for degrees, research specialties. Let me just choose one. Let me choose searching by GRE requirements. Now it gives me a list of schools. University of North Carolina, Department, Physics and Astronomy, GRE required, yes. What's their minimum score? It tells you those who have a minimum score, it tells you what they require. And then on and on, you can see different things about the schools. Let me sort by financial aid package. For me, I love this financial aid package or research budgets. Yes, this site is peculiar to physics. There are some other ways to know for some other departments. I will show you that. A simple, for me, I had to search for this when I was doing my own application process. So you can search for your own department. So I think I've seen for biochemistry or chemistry before, and I shared it on Twitter sometimes ago, even though I can't remember that again. So I can search for research budgets. I mean, I want to see schools, see their research budget, see University of Colorado, see research budgets. Please, if you have mute yourself if you are not muted so that we don't get problems of background noise. Let me try and mute this.
Worship.
We love that song, but it's distracting now.
Not now.
Who is the person?
Meet everybody.
Okay, I've seen.
Just meet everybody.
Yeah, done now. Okay, so you can see sorting by research budget here. See schools, see their total research budget. See departmental budget. I mean, if you can't find, for me, if I'm in physics now and I can't find my school here, let me show you FSU, Florida State University, where we this. We don't go down. Kilo day. If you find Florida State University, let me know. I mean, it's there. We have good budget, good money coming from different angles. This University of Florida, I know someone who is coming to University of Florida. I may join this meeting soon. There's Florida International. I mean, you have different things. Now, let me click just one of them to see. Let me click. Okay, this is Florida State University. They didn't put money there. We have money on Alio. Okay, let me just click this school now, Florida Atlantic University. Now, it takes me to everything I need to know about their departments. And then I can see the application deadlines here. Application deadlines. You can see that the application deadline for fall is April 1. International, no, this must be a joke. It can't be April 1 now. Okay, yes, April 1 for the following year, yeah. Application for this, I mean, they gave a lot of time for people to be able to apply. And then for spring is October 1. Okay. I can see different things here. Do they require GRE? It tells me. Do they require GRE physics? It tells me. I see the degree requirements, everything I need to know. They tell me. I say tuition. This is where I'm interested in if I'm coming here. Financial. Do they finance students? How many research assistants do they have? 4. That's not totally okay for me. 4 is too small, but I can still try out. You understand? Okay. So are loans available for domestic students? Yes, loans are not available for international students. I see that. Okay, I can decide to choose another school and say, okay, let me check out. I can say, okay, let's check out East Michigan University. This East Michigan. And then I start looking at the application deadlines, the same thing too. I start looking at everything they have to offer. Okay. So another way to know, for example, this is physics only. A way to know for some other schools if they have funding. I used to recommend Carnegie classification of schools. Okay. This is classification of higher education. Now I want to see the basic classifications. I want to see doctoral universities, those with very high research activity. I can look at those with high research activity. I can look for different classification. Let me choose those schools that have very high research activity. I mean, 131 results, 131 schools. And it comes up with different schools. Different schools. It shows that they have they do research so much. And then what that also implies that they will have funding. So see them, see the schools, Florida State University, the Florida International Emory University, Georgetown, John Hopkins, MIT, Michigan State, all those schools, you have it listed there. So this can give me an idea of schools that do very research so much and that will definitely have funding. Now, I can also decide to say, okay, if I can't go through all this stress and whatnot, let's say someone is studying, what do you study? Someone give me what they study? Let's make a search here.
Biochemistry.
Biochemistry.
Okay. Plenty.
Let's say someone is studying biochemistry. I just type in Google, biochemistry. Yeah. I type assistantship because that's what I'm looking for. Assistantship. Then I hit enter. Now, these are schools offering assistantship. So let me click on this first one, University of Toledo. And then it tells me something about the school. Department of Biochemistry and Biochemistry award each. For me, I'm just trying to see enrolled in research-based MS or PhD, and as child that include. That means these guys, those who they give the assistance to are those who are enrolled in research-based MS or PhD program. We should talk about that. Some are not, some are research-based, some are not research-based. With complete tuition, waiver of tuition. So they even wrote it here, assistance is not available to support students enrolled in non-thesis MS program. Okay. And then see how much they offer. $26,000. Wow, that's cool. No, 23K. 23 and 18 for MS student. And that's cool for me. The next thing is to look for their application. What are their requirements? Let's try and navigate and see where their requirements can be. Okay. So let's see how to apply.
Just presentation. You know what I'm talking about. You have an idea.
So
you like that
because I'm sharing screen, I'm not able to mute all straight away. I have to be muting individually. Please just mute yourself.
That's something that I will not tell.
Good. I don't know them. So, what do they require here? To be considered for the graduate program of your choice, please complete the official blah, 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 blah. The following items are required. Recommendation letters, 3 letters, official transcript, official TOEFL/IELTS result. These ones are not even requiring GRE. Okay, the GRE is optional. All right. Now, what's the next thing to do for me? If I want to apply to this school, the next thing I want to do is to ask their department to send a message to this guy, this contact person. I will send a message that, is it possible for you guys to waive my TOEFL for me we were taught in English in Nigeria? If you have TOEFL results, you don't need to do that. Or IELTS result, you don't need to do that. The official transcript, I will ask them, is it possible for me to use unofficial transcripts? Okay. I will ask, is it possible for me to use, I will ask them, is it possible for me to use unofficial transcripts? And then submit official transcript when I'm admitted. These are the questions I will direct to this guy straight away. That's how you will continue to do it until you find those who you think you have the requirement for. Let's check another school on this biochemistry again. Which school did we see here again? Central Michigan. Graduate assistantship, blah, 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 blah. Compensation. So they have said it that they offer assistantship to everyone. Okay. Applications. So next thing I want to see is, I want to see what are the requirements. Requirement, research, students, applications, programs. Okay, so I'll look for graduate studies here. I'm looking for where to go to find more information. Okay. MS and PhD. How to apply. This is what I'm interested in. How to apply. Okay, so then you start looking at this. These guys, they require official transcript, application fee. They require unofficial. Okay, so these ones can start processing with unofficial transcripts. They require 3 letters of recommendation and all those stuff. And then you can start your application. If you have more questions, you just ask the coordinator or whatever, whichever email you can find there. You just simply ask them. And you can do this for any course. Let's do for another course. Can you mention one course again for us to look at?
Biology.
Biology. Okay, let's assume you've been searching for biology and you've not found biology. Just type biology assistantship. Biology assistantship. Okay, this one. University of South Dakota. Now, of course, you must also bear in mind that some schools don't do biology straight away. Some just have it in conjunction with some other courses. Some may say echo, whatever. You will put all those into consideration when you are making your search. But these guys have biology as a department. So research assistants, they offer money, they do all this stuff. So next thing for me to see is I want to see what their admission look like. Academic programs, graduates. And then you start looking through what it looks like. And then you start saying, let's see their own requirements. Where do we find requirements here? Let's come. Admission will take us away. Want it from the department. Let's see what most of this does not apply to what we are looking for. Our own is the assistantship. Let's see the general admissions. For graduate students, graduate admissions. Okay, I can't seem to find this in a hurry now, but you just navigate. What you want to see is their requirements, and then you're able to see, do I have all these documents? Okay, you want to see, do I have these documents? Do I have the GRE? Have I done GRE? Do I have TOEFL? Make requests. Do I need to, if you can waive GRE for me, if you can waive TOEFL for me, make all those requests. Okay. Now, basically what happens, when should you, many of those schools have different deadlines. So you have to check their deadlines too and make sure that you are not close to the deadline. That's why it's good to start ahead of time. Your advice, your lecturers in Nigeria. Okay, sorry, I'm reading some questions here. We'll come back to the questions. Let me just quickly finish this. So, befriend your lecturers in Nigeria. Let them write something beautiful for you. Now, the beauty of the application process here is that the admission or the funding is not solely based on your CGPA. Everything you submit counts. Everything you submit. In fact, sometimes your statement of purpose and reference letter can become more important than your grade. For example, if you have a low CGPA, it is a good idea to include in your statement of purpose why you think you had a low grade during your undergraduate. Include it. Some may say family problem. There was a problem in the family. Probably dad and mommy were having a fight and then it affected you psychologically. All those excuses, they absorb them as something genuine. They take them as something genuine because mental health is it is in Nigeria that we don't value mental health. Here, they value mental health. When I was looking through my transcripts in the spring, no, for summer, yeah, spring, okay. One of the things they wrote there under the transcript, because we couldn't finish on campus in school, we had to go online. One of the things that was written there was the situation of things on ground. They wrote COVID-19 inside my transcript to show that whatever result you see on this guy's transcript, it's also been affected by COVID-19, is mental health. Some people take some excuse and say, oh, I'm not balanced. During those periods when there were protests around in the US, the Black Lives Matter and the likes, people were checking up with their Black students to see that are you mentally capable of doing this. A student may opt out and say, I'm not mentally capable because of this protest is affecting my mentality. Okay, so they take those things very serious. If you have an issue with low grade, include it in your statement of purpose, why you think you are a low grade. So many things. It can be financial, you didn't have food to eat, and then you couldn't read, you were struggling with things at home, you were struggling with an emotional issue, your boyfriend deserted you or girlfriend went somewhere or something happened. Include everything. Okay. Those things really, really count. In those situations, your statement of purpose can become more important than your grade. So the application is taken as a whole. They are considered as a whole. They don't just say just CGPA or just does not have research experience or it does not have this, does not have that. It is everything as a whole. As a whole. Why it is good to aim at first class? Yeah, I had first class. Some of the first time I made applications to US, all those applications were denied. Check my story on YouTube. All those applications were denied. So it's not by saying I have a first. Whereas those who have 2-2 are already here, they're already here, they've already moved. Why first class is still struggling to get the assistantship. So it's not just by, oh, I don't have a first class, I don't have a 2 and this and that. No. If you can make your applications very beautiful, your reference letters, your statement of purpose. I think Sam, who used to share, who shared, I think is I don't know who shared those personal statements that we need to.
I'll share it on the chat box now. I'll share it on the chat box.
All those so that you can to have a, what do you call it, pattern to follow. So we share it in the chat box, pattern to follow for personal statement, for statement of purpose for referees. Sometimes our referees, our lecturers ask us to write it ourselves and then bring it to them so that they can vet it and all the stuff. So you can see patterns, things you can write. Some write weak reference letters and they don't know they're writing a very weak reference letter. So those things will really, really help them. Okay. So we will go through the questions. We answer them. If you want to, because I can see someone raising a hand, so ask the question. When you want to ask the question, just briefly introduce yourself. It's good to know you. Okay, then anybody here will answer. I can see the ones. About I salute you. Now your face we supposed to see now, not just name.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
look,
I mean this, Ade.
I want me to finish call. Bye.
yeah, look, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, please, my name is Ayomide, and I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Yeah, please. I graduated from the University of Ibadan last year. I'm already done with my NYC, but I graduated with it. So I want to know what's my chance of
You graduated with a
2.2,
okay.
3 point some 3.2 and a 7.0.
Okay.
I want to know what's my chance of getting a fully funded assistantship in the US.
Okay. Who wants to answer that? They want Sam, Isaac.
Well, sorry, good evening to everyone in Nigeria. There's no clear-cut fixed rule for scholarship, to be honest. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no clear-cut fixed rule to scholarship. If you have a 2-2, there are many things you can do. Number one, you can decide to do WES credential evaluation. You can do course-by-course based evaluation. You can see tons of stuff on it on Twitter. You can go to any of our handles, go to Mr. Samuel Ajayi, and all of us have explained how to go about it on Twitter. But it's pretty costly. If you have money, you can just do it. That's number one. Number two is that you can go deep into research. You go and find out about professors' research and make sure you send very nice email. Presently, there are 2 or 3 people in our private mentors group, me and Brainbuster. They are 2-2. They are 2-2, and they are about getting fully funded scholarship to USA now. They are in Nigeria, just like you. What did they do? Simple. I told them, do not disclose that you have 2-2 when you are sending emails. That's number one.
Perfect.
That do not disclose that you have 2-2 when you are sending emails. Make sure that the email is sweet. You have been going on up and down, but check the admission page of the school. Make sure you have the minimum requirement to get admission, so that when your supervisor tables your matter in the admission committee, they will not say this guy did not even meet up. And even if you don't meet up, your supervisor may be one of your guys in the committee, and if he says yes, nobody can say no. Do you understand? So I just want you to be dynamic. Make sure you send as many messages as possible. Your email is very important. Also, make sure you have something to counter that too. Do you have any work experience? Do you have any software experience? Do you have any latest information, latest tools that they use in your field that you know that if you have it, if you say it, nobody can say no to you. So your tutor is not the end. What you have, what can you use to cover up for the 2-2? Do you have work experience? Do you have can you write good emails? The GRE, if you are going to US, your GRE must be top notch. If your IELTS or TOEFL, if you have all those things, 2-2 will become almost inconsequential if you're able to win the out of them. That's just it.
In fact, from what I've noticed in our research lab here, for example, your grades become, they don't even reckon with your coursework, self. Even the coursework you are doing here. The way our professors feel is this thing is wasting our time. Like, wow, you understand? They want you to work. Can you do this? Can you work with the accelerator? Can you work with the tandem? Can you work with all those stuff? You understand? Gain experience. That's why I say it's very important. what my wife did, she did biochemistry too, and she went to RITA. We found a link there in Ibadan for her to do an internship there. And the internship is, she was getting peanuts, just peanuts. But the experience is so important, because I understand that it's very possible in many Nigerian schools that we don't have the research experience. That's very possible. Find organizations that you think can offer you that experience. Okay, get experience. Do something to boost, as Diwan has said, boost that CGPA. You discover that they won't even think about your CGPA again at all. I'm seeing a question. Two people are raising their hand. Amarachi, let's have you. Amarachi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Amarachi Onora, and I want to ask a question. So since we started, you've been researching on biology, biochemistry. What about those in the arts department? What about English language, education? Do we have a chance for assistantship?
Yes. Okay, maybe let's do a quick search now. I mean, at least there's someone in my school is doing religious studies, and she's funded fully from Nigeria too. So let's do English. I saw someone write English there. English.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you did.
Yes.
English assistantship. Though there can be different names that will be given to it, but we start with English and then we start adjusting it to be able to see. Okay. English. Oh, this one is in France. Talonge, France. Okay, so this is a school year, Department of English. Can you see assistantship? This is Department of College of Humanities and Fine Arts, Department of English, assistantship. Can you see? Assistantship. Even fine art, there is assistantship in fine art. Okay, but it's just that we have more in the sciences than in other fields, and then the requirements might let's see what's their requirements. Admissions. Okay, what do they need? They need personal statements. Can you see what they said here? They said, we place great weight on your personal statements. Okay, great weight. I mean, they are not joking when they say great weight. Or writing sample, okay? They need writing sample. They need GP and transcript. An application for the stuff. Then for international students, those who are not from English-speaking countries need TOEFL. All students, they need GRE. I'm wondering well, English student can have GRE too.
Yeah, I've seen that requirement too. So I'm also suggesting that for like if you're Nigerian and you studies like English and all, you don't have to necessarily do English if it's not like, because I know there are more funding in things like international relations, international development, those kind of areas. They have more funding compared to English. So if you're with your English background, you're potentially fit for all those courses, international communications, international relations, those kind of stuff. You can also think about doing researches in them. And also considering that you're a Nigerian, going to the US, where STEM courses are more well-paying, even after you finish grad school. Yeah. So you should think about it in that light as well. Not just wanting to study, but also your potential after grad school. What will potentially give you some level of reward, So yeah, that would also help.
And again, when you want to choose a course, you should understand that it's not compulsory you do a course that you did in your undergraduate. Like a professor will always say here that go to the place where there is funding. I mean, even if your dream is to become a whatever, at least you want to get funded first. You can transfer back to your dream after you finish. I mean, you are an authority then you can do anything. So there are more funding for STEM courses, okay, than humanity, but they are available. I know people who are. I mean, the first time I saw the lady, she's also from Nigeria, religious studies. She told me she's doing religious studies. I said, wow, really, religious studies. And fine arts, all those stuff, they are funded. Okay, so you can always get it. Okay, A, you are raising your hand. A, your name is A.
Okay, actually, my name is, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Aisha, and thank you so much for this session. It's been really helpful. But I have two questions, basically, and I think I'll direct them to you, Samuel, since you're in the US. So I'm currently looking at PhD opportunities for computer science, and I noticed that searching for masters is quite different from PhD, because PhD, you have to be more focused in sense of the research area, because during my search, I found a lot of research areas which I'm not interested in. I know what I want to do in computer science and all. So my question is this regarding that: how do you tailor your search to that particular, because it's easy to find the school, like how you've been showing us, you found the school and assistantship, but how do you tailor your search to a particular lab or to a particular professor that's doing what you're most interested in? Because for a PhD, it has to be something you're very interested in. One. And my second question is, most of the PhD, I mean, it doesn't make sense to do a PhD if you're not going to be funded, since it's going to be like 4 years, 5 years. 5 years, is it all programs that are 5 years? And is it possible to finish before 5 years? Let's say, I know you can't finish before 4 years, let's say 4 years. And the stipend,
some 6 years though.
Wow. Okay. So the fact that, because I'm currently master's right now, so will I still have to spend 5 to 6 years? And also, the stipend that is being provided, is it sufficient enough for the period of years? Because we're doing PhD with the hope that when we are done, we'll probably be like more marketable and also provide a better standard for us. Because 5 years, the amount of experience and professional salary you would have gotten will be way more than what you get as stipends, which I understand. Yeah. But I'm getting that at the end of PhD, you want to start at a better level. So the stipend, is it enough for just someone? And I know you're married somewhere with a kid. Yeah. Is it enough to also sustain a family? I think those are my two questions. Or do you have to do additional work outside to sustain yourself and your family? Thank you.
Over to you, Uncle Sam.
That question of a married man now.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so let me start from the.
I've mixed you guys up. I thought the guy talking is somewhere. Where's somewhere? The one wearing blue? Is that?
There are two somewhere now.
There are two somewhere.
There are two somewhere.
One on blue.
Yeah. The one on blue. Sorry.
The one on blue is the chairman of US General Overseer.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere, the other somewhere and D1, they are the General Overseer for Canada.
Oh, D1 and General Overseer.
They are the Canadian region.
And yeah, I think I have the third question for the other Samuel. So what would you prefer, like, for PhD, US or Canada? Because I'm kind of in the middle regarding those two. It's kind of harder for me to find research labs I'm interested in Canada. It's usually harder, your requirements are harder compared to US. So, and like, what would you advise, US or Canada? I think that would be for the other Samuel. So my first two questions are for the Samuel on blue, the married Samuel. Thank you.
So,
Mario.
Oh, my brother. What's up now?
There's a sister in the making now. So let me question of stipend. Okay. Truth be told, when you get here with a family, you will cut your coat according to the material you've been given, not according to your size. According to the material you've been given. The stipend is small, okay? And of course, that will, the first thing, it will affect the type of apartments you get, because the major thing that takes money here,
accommodation,
is rent.
Yeah, accommodation. Yeah.
Accommodation is expensive. Imagine two bedroom apartment, you are paying over $1,000 today. You understand? Per month.
It's even cheap.
Food is cheap. Food is
it's cheap. The accommodation is cheap. Like I stay in a one room stuff and I $700 a bill. Now 1 room and I mad. It's so bad. So bad.
So for someone with but if you don't have a family, for example, I have people who are paying 450, 500, because it will be in a a shared apartment. Yeah, being a 4-bed, but you can't take your family to a shared apartment. Be living there. So accommodation will be taking almost all the money you get per month. But food is cheap. You can always get food. I mean, food is like, if I enter Walmart, I will buy with $100. I will buy. The car will be filled. You understand? Everything. The car self will be going under the weight of the of the stuff. So, but it will be hard. But you see, what keeps me going is that it's just for 5 years. Yeah, I'm paying insurance. I'm paying car insurance, rent insurance. The house you are renting, you are paying insurance on it. You are paying some other taxes and all those stuff. Taxes is also definitely from the source. Okay, but the thing is, the goal is that after 5 years or 4 years, or whichever number of years, things will become better. Okay, that's a goal. Of course, if you have some hand skills, you can do some stuff. My wife she knows how to play, she knows how to do all those stuff. So she gets some few people that we know to just, those are side incomes, you understand? It's just about managing for this period of time. See, for these 5 years, for this, you just know that this is what you want to do. When I tell some people that we live, what they call hand to mouth. That's what will almost happen to you. It will be difficult to really, really say, oh, I'm saving a large sum of money and then I want to really difficult. It's just the knowing that it's just for this period of time. It's just for the period of time. Okay. Now to the question of how to get the research that you desire. Now, what you do is, what I didn't show you, which I usually do, is when you check each of those schools, go under people or research. You want to see what are the research universities. Okay. Click on research, it will show you the researches they offer, the researches they do in that school. They show you where their focus is. And then when you click on people, it will show you the faculty members. You can start clicking on each of those faculty members to know their research interests. Okay. And then when you see someone whose research interest aligns with yours, then you can send a mail, you can interact with the person. That's how you know what those people are doing. But again, in US, it is very dynamic. For example, if you are in medical physics, for example, I did radiation and health physics in UI, my master's, and I was searching for medical physics in US, health physics, all those stuff. I discovered that it was so difficult for me to find schools offering medical physics, radiation and health physics. Now, because in the US Department of the Science Foundation, NSF, not every year, for a decade, they release the research direction they want to focus on for the next 10 years, a decade. So those are the type of researches that we funded. So what every school or every research faculty or whatever do is they start tailoring their research in line with what is now being funded. So they don't want to, if they still stay in that old world saying, this is what I'm doing, I cannot change it, they won't be funded, they won't get funding. For example, NSF is funding researches on nuclear structure, in weapons, nuclear weapons and all those stuff. All those people who are in nuclear physics start tailoring their research towards that direction. Let's say after 2030 now, or 2025, there's a new direction. You start tweaking your research direction to go in that same direction that are now being funded. They don't want to be stagnant. So that's one thing about the research. And I will advise, if it's difficult to find that exact same research that you've been doing, maybe it's time to adjust a little bit and make some concessions, make some, what's the English now? Shift ground. Maybe this is time to shift ground and start looking at some areas that are so close to what you are doing. Okay, because they are not static, they are dynamic. I will tell you, there are some people here who are not, for me, I'm a research assistant, okay, presently. there are some who till their final year will be teaching assistant. What that implies is that there is no research money coming for them, okay? But they have to teach for them to be able to get funds. They have to, probably their advisor does not have research, okay? But they have to teach so that they can get funds from the department. I taught in my first year, okay, and all through summer, I taught undergraduate courses, but now I'm not teaching, I'm on a research grant now, okay? And I will be on the research grant till I graduate. Reason being that the research is being funded by NSF, National Science Foundation. They are funding the nuclear, whatever. But if I were to be in a research group that does not have that kind of funding, I will have to be teaching. I'll be a teaching assistant, okay? And to say how long will you spend? Will you spend 4 years, 5 years? It depends on how fast you are. But again, I will say that some department have speculated time that you can finish. Physics, for example, the first 2 years, you're expected to do coursework. Okay, really respect. Come with 3 masters, come with 5 masters. You will still do coursework, and after 2 years, you can decide to get another master's or continue. So those who are doing masters alone and you are doing PhD straight, you still offer the same courses for the first year or first year. The only difference would be your research or something that you will have to write. I think I answered that question, Aisha.
You did. Yeah, I think the other someone is answered the other question.
Yeah. Okay. So D1, you'd also like put in your contributions, all right, after me, so she gets a very concise stuff. So for you're asking about PhD in Canada and in the US. From my idea, to be honest,
if I will say for me, I will say come to US. Okay.
Yeah, the US is the better funded environment, and I say this from all the experience I know. One of the reasons why I'm not doing PhD right now is because I want to get a funding separately for PR advantage, funding from ROA, funding for TA, and apply for other provincial scholarships. Because
carry the money come to Nigeria now.
No, I don't play like 50K a year. So if you give me 20K to go and do PhD, it's mentally draining. I'll just run mad. So putting myself in that level of pain will not work for studies. I'm from Anambra.
He has been working. He has been working. He has seen real money.
Yeah. So if you tell me to go and do PhD, I collect 21,000. There's no way I will do it. You know. So that's why I'm saying that the US is a better funded environment. Most scholarships in Canada are $18,000 to $21,000. You know, and you still pay tuition from it. So if you're talking about money,
funded, they waive your tuition. Sorry, like when they say
I think that's a misconception with Canada.
let me explain that very well so that you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Because I know D1 is a PhD student now, so he has a better idea. So that when you're ready for you, man, they will pay for you. They will give you money. From there, you pay school fees. So that you're not going to say we misled you. The only thing why I recommend Canada is this one you're planning to get married. This one you have seen that you're in love in between. So if you mistakenly fall in love or you are married already, you can teleport your husband wherever he is and bring him, and he will get the work permit, and he can work full time and make a chunk of money that is okay. For instance, my babe is a nurse. If I was an international student and I married her and she was a nurse here, I can do PhD for 8 years. I let the PhD research not work. Like I'm not bothered whether I work or not. I don't care. She'll bring in all the money that we need, typically. So those are the advantages that you might want to consider as being an advantage. You know, that depending on the kind of boy you're getting married to, if it's skilled, if it's not skilled, if it's, you know, that's your personal stuff. But you can think about that part of the advantage as something if you want to leverage on. And of course, your husband can be working, and then after 1 year he applies for PR and he puts you in the PR. He gets PR, you get PR together. So your status will change, and then you can apply for other scholarships. You know, all of those. And as a PR, you can work full time and school full time. So you can have a job, work from home full time, have have another stuff, do PhD full time. So typically, those are the advantages that you can consider. There's no restriction on how you work. In fact, you can work like you can work anywhere. In fact, you can even. I have a friend currently who is a PR. He's working in the government. He took a 5-year study leave, and they're paying him half of the salary, per annum, and he's doing his PhD. So there are possibilities that you can get in that level, like with the PR. But if you plan to be an international student, like if you're doing masters in Nigeria and you don't have any work experience before, PR and you're alone by yourself, PR might not favor you until after the PhD. So those are the things that you must consider typically. As to how to find supervisors in Canada, and you don't, I doubt you need GRE fail as a Nigerian. You wouldn't need that. But here's the thing is that Canadian admission is on the very bad side, in the sense that you have to find a supervisor and convince the person that you're a good fit. And to be honest, students here too are a good fit. Schools here are small. Like schools in Canada are not. I don't think they're up to 50, like universities. I'll tell you 50 is too much. I don't even think they're up to 35, like universities that you can really study in. Like I can count it, and that makes the competition tougher because the influx of students are huge, but the reception, the capacity to receive students is limited.
Yeah.
So that brings it to a place where getting to study becomes difficult. For instance, I have a PhD offer in UBC, but the study scholarship is 18,000. In counting, CA a year is 10,100. RUA is 18,000. The scholarship as a PR is 10,000. That's almost 40,000. So will I now leave it to go and do? So those technicalities are what and then you can bring your babe, she can work, and then get like 30,000 extra to it.
PRs an additional 12,000.
Yeah, PRs, like if you're a PR in that school, you
get CA is earning 10,000.
It's 10,000.
And
you can get all. Yeah, you can get all at the same time, and you can still work full time. So most of my friends have customer service jobs online, those phone calls jobs, and they get $16 per hour, and they run it midnight. Like
$60 per hour.
Yeah, and you run it midnight.
What's the minimum wage in Canada?
Depends on the province. So some provinces are like BC is like 14. Some provinces are 13. Some provinces are. So I think the minimum is 13. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the minimum is 13. So you can run that. Like you can still do that, and in a year you might be getting 40K, and then you can pay school fees and for PRs your school fees is like maybe 5K in a year or 6K. So you should be fine. You like with that you should be fine, and then your tax will be lower because you're a student, right? So all these things put together will make the funding a little good for you. But for international students that you are paying PhD school fees, I know my friend who is in Guelph, his funding is 35K, his school fees is 18. So you are getting 35K, you're paying school fees of 18K, you have only 17K left. And if you're a girl that wears wig of 50,000, those kind of things, you probably have to, like Sam said, cut your coat according to what you have, try and make things work for you. But the thing is that with a PhD in computer science, your future is bright. With a PhD in AE, physics, in those STEM areas, your future is bright. And if your future does not shine in Canada, if you get the PR and all that, you can still relocate from Canada to US, wherever you want to go to. So the choice really depends on the things that you intend to achieve for yourself. Now, why I'm saying this is because this is a community where we want you guys to have the best information and make the best choices. We I didn't plan to come to Canada. I came to Canada by providence, and I'm staying by providence, and I chose to, and I will keep staying by providence.
Movie by choice.
so we need to come to that place where we understand these things, so that when you make choices, like if you're in US, like Sammy said, if you're married, your wife would have to depend, or your husband has to depend on you. So let's assume you married a guy who works in Shell in Nigeria, bringing to US, he cannot depend on you. It's mental, it's draining for a man to depend on you, ideally. And now I'm saying this because when we're a family where we should say the things that are really true. We're not here to tell you fictions that we see on Twitter. We're here to tell you what is true as possible. So I think the one has other other extra things to say because he's doing a PhD now and he's an international student. So he has more experience. So Dimon, help us.
Wow, thank you, Samuel. That was a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Samuel already finished the whole thing. I would just like to add that as much as all of us want to study in and stay in the US and Canada, one thing that is very important is that we should always look at impossibilities at the present. Let me explain very well. You see, all of us as Nigerians, we have this mentality of, I want to go to US, I want to go to Canada. 95% of people want to either go to US or Canada. But also, as much as you're aspiring, please note at the back of your mind that it may not happen immediately. This is why many people lose opportunities before getting it. Let me give you a practical example. Oluwamuyiwa is in some Twitter. He has gone to 3 continents. He's in Canada now. I went to Saudi Arabia. I'm a Christian. I went to Saudi Arabia before Canada. And you can imagine that kind of thing. So just think of it very well. Make use of other opportunities while you are aspiring for either US or Canada. I'm still going to explain US or Canada, but I just want to give you a general background. When we post scholarships on other schools, some people say, "Who they go Sweden, Germany, they get problem." I know they go. I need to understand language. You need to tell yourself that you need to go first because it's from there that you can get opportunities to also move to other places. I want you to note that too. There is this at DXME, you should know her very well, Dr. Olua Bamijia or something. She moved from Finland, from Nigeria to Finland, from Finland to Canada, from Canada. She's now in US and she's a Canadian citizen. So as much as you are aspiring for either US or Canada, please, I beg you, have it at the back of your mind that it may not work immediately, but that should be your ultimate aim, but it may not be immediate. So as much as you are applying for US, Canada, also look at other places. That's point number 1. Point number 2, let me just summarize US and Canada. I mean, Sama already said it. This is the way I always tell people. If you're the kind of person who loves family, you don't like to also up and down. You're not the Lagos kind of person who likes to be walking up and down. You just like a place where you are just somebody who just want a place to rest your head, and you want a security where you can have security for your children, and you don't have to be afraid of what will happen tomorrow. Just get jelly, come to Canada. This is because immediately you enter Canada and you get the PR, forget it. It's only God and Satan that can remove your destiny. That's the truth. You have secured destiny for yourself and for your children and generation forever. I mean, unless this earth moves away. This is the absolute truth. Once you just get that PR thing, and the best way to get PR thing is to come as a student. After you finish, do your pre-GWP, postgraduate work program. After that, you apply. It's pretty easy for students because the pathway is just step by step, and then you get your PR. And in the space of 5 years after getting your PR, you can get your citizenship, your blue card. You can be a big boy.
5 years is too much.
Everyone.
5 years is too much.
5 years is too much. You can see.
It's 3 years.
It's even 3 years. You see. So that is Canada for you. And if you get if you're a PR for Canada, what you can do is that you can even go move anywhere. You can go work. Look at Dr. Lubamdi. She has a Canadian passport and she's working in US. Yeah. So she can move from US to Canada anytime she wants.
Anytime.
Yeah. Anytime. Nobody will say, "Oh, yeah, be doing one nonsense visa stuff like that."
I have a friend here who is also here in FSU.
Yeah.
The family, the wife and children, they are in Canada, working towards PR. He moves shuttles between Canada, comes back to Florida, shuttles, and he's a student here, and he's working PR in Canada.
You see him. So that's the advantage that Canada has. But in US is a place, it's a land of milk and honey. It's a place where you can make as much money as possible and you can get opportunities as much as possible.
For sure.
When it comes to funding, when it comes to, if you're the kind of person who wants to get to an environment where you can really mix with people, you can really see people of your type, at the end, you want to go to school, you want to also on time, you want to get money, you are not really interested in really finding a place for your family or to settle down. You are not really the family type. Then you can go to US. After the US, you cannot think of, okay, what will I do now? Now that I've finished my PhD, now that I've worked, you cannot start work. If you find a work, if I opportunity to get a work, and then you cannot go. And you know Trump now. You know the story behind it. So Trump was one of the reasons why I did not pursue my US scholarship. I got the US fully funded scholarship in US. I say because of Trump, I know they go, man, I go Canada. If I finish my package for Canada, then me and Trump go meet for meeting.
Election is next week.
So this is just
we don't do underground work.
So this is just the absolute truth. And also for Canada, if you are married, you don't have problem. Just bring your wife or husband. You be doing the hustle for schooling. Let she or him be doing the working. And so you bring the money home. And also your kids are also insured. There are so many benefits. So those will depend on what you really want.
Benefits.
Your child
benefit is like $600 per month. So that's even able to pay your rent. Monthly gets like 3K a month. That's covers much. So
well, you see, so those are the advantages. Exactly. So those are the pros and cons of. But to get to Canada,
money people are sharing. You're sending it to Florida.
Yeah, the only problem is getting to Canada because the schools are not much, and convincing a professor, you need to convince a professor with a very nice research before I can ask you to come. Because he has to be sure that this person that I cannot gamble my money. The money is not much.
Yeah.
The funding is I cannot gamble on my money. I cannot gamble the money on somebody who I'm not sure will give me result immediately. That's the problem. In US, they can gamble money they were. If you don't work, another person will work. This is the reason why the resources are limited and people are always very careful in bringing somebody. If you see anybody in Canada, know that he has gone through a lot. Ask someone with the paper we didn't show him. So you must have gone through a lot. This is why I would also like you to think about the two. But like I said, the two countries should be the ultimate aim, but may not be the immediate aim. Look at other opportunities too. Thank you.
All right, very beautiful answer.
Please follow them. Follow Dimon on Twitter. Dimon is a tailor. He has good threads. So
Okay, Doinsola, I think you have a question.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
My
name is Doinsola. I graduated from FUNAB, University of Agriculture, Belgium. I currently work as an operation analyst in a fintech in Lagos. Okay, so I was trying to apply to Canada for masters, but I studied business administration, and I don't want to do GMAT, and all the courses in business needed GMAT.
So what schools have you applied to first? Because I know a few. So what schools have you applied to first?
Almost everything. No, let me just check my notes now.
You're checking your notes. Do not apply though. When you apply to school, you don't school name.
Okay.
Why are you asking a question?
To...
Someone is asking when is the best time to apply for fall 2021. Now is the best time. Tomorrow
it started since October, since August.
Yes. So, but check for the deadline. Check the deadline for your school. Some deadline December 15. Some January 1st. Some January 15.
Application fee for December 1st. I've just noticed that quite recent. Most schools waive application fee for December 5th and 1st. Like most schools, if you send them an email, they always I have like 5 friends who have gotten that those waivers.
Please repeat it. Let people get it well. I feel that's much of some $100.
So most schools, I know 5 people recently who just got application fee waivers, and they asked them to submit the application before December 1st. So I don't know what's peculiar about December 1st, but that's something to look out for. That's something to really look out for. So
yes,
if you want
one thing about that between 1st and 15th of December is that you are working with a tight deadline rather than waiting to submit application in January. So for that, they can quickly start evaluation even before they go for the December break. So some schools, a lot in US, I've actually seen they've done it. I got one anyway last year.
That's good. That's good again. Not of Eastern something.
So, Doinsola, your question. Continue.
Okay. Yeah. So so today, while I was still doing my research, I saw the University of Winnipeg, and I saw a PGD, a diploma, and I've already done it. I have my transcript, unofficial transcript, and they said that okay, I can. When I said submit the application, then they would request. I'll send it officially from FUNAB. So I wanted to ask. My first question was application fee waiver, and I think you just mentioned it. Now I wanted to ask how
in Canada. To be honest, in Canada, application for whereby it's almost a miracle. It's a miracle working God. If it's like
They like money in Canada, you go pay.
you go pay. You go pay. In fact, I recently applied for a PhD in UBC, and I got an approval waiver because I sent them a proof that my PR application is around 43%. So that's the only proof I had to show that I was a London immigrant, and I was broke typically. So, but ideally, if you're from Nigeria or anywhere, you likely have to pay your money. You likely have to pay your money. So
okay, thank you. Secondly, can I switch from business? I study business and administration, so I want to do business, but I don't want to do an MBA.
So what do you want to do now?
Be international business, digital management, all of those, international marketing, international management,
Okay.
all of that, but not an MBA.
So yes, I work. Have you found the courses that you want?
Yes, I know the courses I want. My problem is
have you found it in schools?
Just a few of them. Not really. Most times, what I just see is masters in business administration.
Because I know my choice school for PhD. This Carleton, they have business analytics. I know a couple of schools.
What did you call the school now?
Carleton.
Carleton. Okay.
Yeah, LE.
Yes. That's the last school I checked.
Okay,
yeah.
So I know the school. I know the school very because I'm just I'll definitely go there. So they have business analytics. A couple of schools also have other business programs. But here's the problem. The problem with all of those courses you mentioned, they are course-based. They are non-thesis. That's one of the challenges with the courses, with those kind of courses. They are non-thesis. And the problem with non-thesis is that there is no funding. So you're having issues with admission is you get admission for sure. If you write a good SOP, if you have a 2-1, just two basic stuff. You get funding, you will get admission for sure. But do you have the money to pay for it? Because those courses are really expensive. So if you're talking about a non-thesis program, it is expensive. So other things I recommend, other things I recommend is going for an MSc, for instance, MSc in, let's say, business management. I'm just saying, let's say business management, but you look for a professor who is focused on information science, so that when you're doing business management, you're getting the kind of skills that you want. I remember here, what matters here is not the name of the course, it's the skills that the course gives. For instance, I'm a biochemist by BSc. I did food science in masters. Now, I still want to go back to biochemistry somehow. So I found a professor who does food science, but his background is in chemistry, and his research is in polyphenols and protein. So typically, I'm doing food science, but I'm learning chemistry skills because I don't want to be a food scientist in the future. But the guy has funding, but I will learn chemistry skills. So I will learn FTIR, photometry. I'll do some infrared stuff that will make me work in the drug industry because that's where I want to work. But I'm not competitive to get a job in the drug industry to get a PhD that's funded. Those are my background. So you have to be a little intelligent about what you do. But the skills I will get are required in the drug industry. So eventually, after the PhD, I'll go look for a job in the drug industry where I'll make money. Typically, that's what it is. So you have to come to a place where you have to understand those peculiarities in these abroad studies. It's not like it's different from what you have in Nigeria, where you do business admin, and that's business admin. Yeah, you can do business management, but your professor has information components. He builds softwares. He uses softwares to determine business, to provide business solutions. Those are the things that you have to also look out for, because those things are present. It's just that we don't know that because of our background from Nigeria. When I learned this thing, I told my friends, don't bother about the course. Just look for it. If you can be doing microbiology and you're doing genetics, totally. Yeah. You're doing you're not doing genetic microbiology, but you're doing that in a department. So those are the things that you have to look out for. Instead of using your money to do business analytics and spend $40,000 a year, just do business management and look for a research that has to do with information something, analytics something. Be doing it. Take courses in that area. It's the skill that you get that will give you a job, not your degree, really. So
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of what you just mentioned. There's a school here in Florida, here in Tallahassee, Florida, too, which is FAMU, Florida A&M University. Now, I know one of the professors in chemistry, and he was saying, okay, it was not the professor, it was another person that was telling me, she's teaching in biology. She teaches in biology there. And then the chemistry does not have a PhD per se. They don't have a PhD program per se here in FAMU, Florida A&M, but they have PhD in that biology. Now, they have MSc in the chemistry, but the professor is working on a cancer research job, having a research on cancer drug, which they do in collaboration with the biology. Somebody wanted to study PhD chemistry, and then the person had to do it in that biology, but is working with that professor in chemistry.
Correct.
That's also possible. So, have double supervisors. Okay.
Exactly.
So
why your degree will show biology. The skills you have will be chemistry, and that's what you portray.
Yeah.
In this part of the world, that's what you portray, not your degree. You don't portray your degree.
Okay. Somebody has a question. Chisholm, you have a question. Can you quickly ask you?
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is directed towards statements of purpose, SOP. I'm a biology student, biology education from University of Benin. I'm a final year student, and I'm currently researching on use of virtual reality in improving the academic performance of biology students. And I would like to do public health for my master's. But I've been thinking of how I'll correlate these two in my statement of purpose, because this is a very new field. I've done research on it before, and I intend publishing a paper on it, and I don't just want to let it go to waste. So I'm thinking of how I'll correlate these two to make a very strong statement of purpose. So if you can help me with that, how
I'm Chisholm.
Yes.
This is Sam. Okay. So I know you personally anyway. So yes, I work. Have you taken courses in epidemiology, by statistics and the likes?
Yes, I have. Actually, we call it what do you call it? It's not actually called biostatistics. It's called, but I've done courses relating to statistics, calculus, all that.
So the first thing you have to do is like I always advise, check top 10 schools in the US, check their MSc, MP, and see their course modules. Now, what it to do for you is to weigh your undergraduate background and see how those undergraduate background fits to an extent.
Hey.
Number two, what other things you have to do is that look at public health as a course that involves a level of practical activities. So start now to build momentum. With like community work related to public health. You can start with doing COVID awareness. Delivering content in COVID. You can even start. You can be smart enough to write blogs on Medium, have blogs on Medium, and then on your CV, put links on the blogs you had on Medium. Create engagement. Let me tell you something. Most of the things that you write on your CV cannot be verified. This is internal. This is in-house. It cannot be verified. Typically, it cannot be verified. But it boosts your profile. Don't forgive me, but it boosts your profile to a certain extent. So if you want to do public health, look at what makes a candidate ideal for public health and start fitting yourself into it, and start putting yourself in that line. For instance, I'm trying to apply for Venia, and I've seen that one of the things that makes a Venia scholar is community service. You must have leadership roles. So I just started volunteering with Canadian Institute of the Blind. Me, the abstract side, I'm volunteering for blind. So you see that it's targeted, because what it means that you're deficient in something, and you're trying to help people that are totally that don't even have it. Now the reason why is because I want to position myself for a level of leadership that is enough to enhance my chances. So that is what you should start doing. Look at the requirements for public health, and then see how, as a person, you can start positioning yourself. When you do that, your essay will not speak of all those positions. Your essay is a reflection of all the things that you have, everything that you have, your strength, your academics, your partnership, your leadership, everything all together. So your essays incomplete when you don't have enough. So the strength of the essay depends on the profile as a candidate. That's why you see that people don't write good essays because they don't have anything to write. They don't have achievements, they don't have accomplishments, they don't have collaborations, they don't have networks, they don't have involvement. So their essay is blank. So what they only have is degree. What they only have is CGP. So that's why their essay does not. They don't have research experience. They don't have, So that's what makes an essay really. And I see that people don't understand that an essay is like telling a story of who you are, what you have been, and what you hope to be. And you cannot be what you hope to be if you're not doing something in the present. So start now to do things in the present that will culminate, to something essential as to who you want to be. So I think that would really help you in writing those essays.
Okay, good. Before I come to you, Winner, let me quickly answer a question here in the chat. Somebody asked, okay, I think difference between teaching and research, D1 has helped to answer that. Saying, what's the first step to take when applying for assistantship? Should you apply for the program or email a professor? For me, I would say the first thing is gather all your application documents. Make sure they are ready, they are intact. Then if you have questions, you can mail the professor, or if you have someone you think you want to work with, you can mail the professor. You think you are interested in the person's research, but that should not stop you from applying, okay? The emailing will be a continuation. It's not a one-time thing. It's a conversation you are trying to build, not just emailing once and for all. You want to build a conversation, you want to build a rapport, so that when your application is being considered, if the professor can speak, the professor may be able to speak for you if he has the opportunity, or if you are admitted with funding or whichever way, you can still go back to the professor after your admission. So you can email at any point in time. It's a process in continuation. What's the grammar now? English is too much. Winner, let's have you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for this privilege. I really learned so much from this class. But I wanted to ask Sammy, the one at Canada, how I could like search just the way you search for in Canada for engineering.
Can you your network is not stable. Can you either switch off your video to be able to ask the question?
Okay, let me do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You could hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Thank God. I was saying, I said I understood how you search for the assistantship at the US university, but I was wondering if Sammy could actually tell us, for those that want to apply for Canada, like say assistantship for engineering, if he could like explain just as you did for US, so that I could just have an idea and know how to go about that for Canada University. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Sam, over to you. Or D1,
thank you
over to you.
Since he mentioned Sam, maybe Sam should answer it.
I can't even see Sam again on this. Maybe
Sam don't run away.
Maybe.
Okay, let me answer in the absence of Sam.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm studying electrical engineering, so in Canada, so I'm sure I can answer you well. You are talking about engineering, but
thank you, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I said, sir.
Okay. This is the way it works. I've explained so many things on the thread. You can follow Sam, follow any of us. We have explained. We are just using different English to explain the same thing.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
What you do for us is that look at schools in Canada that are studying your course. What's your course? Is it mechanical engineering or electrical engineering? Which of the engineering?
Which of the engineering is your course? Winner.
Mr. Winner, is he here?
I think network is.
I said which of the engineering are you doing? Is it electrical or mechanical or which one?
No, electrical, electronics. I did electronics and communication as my option.
Oh, so you're in my field. That's nice. So this is what you should do. Look for schools in Canada.
Okay, sir.
And search for their department. check the courses that they have and be sure that they have electrical engineering.
So
Sam has done a lot of examples for us here. Okay, Mr. Samuel, where you going on anyway?
Okay, sir. I want to come here. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay. So I know you're that one. You are still in this house.
So I think how it works is, I think somebody has told us, honestly, the basic scheme. What I do is, let's say I want to study food science in Canada. I'll just type food science MSc Canada. I will see all the schools offering food science. I will write it down.
Okay, sir.
I will now come and type food science masters McGill's as one of the schools. I will type it. I will see. I will now go to faculty. There's always, you see, things like faculty or research. I will go there.
Okay.
I will check the professors that align with what I'm doing. I will now go to funding section and I'll see what they say about funding. I'll click. You see scholarships, international award. You will checking. Once you see that there's funding in this department, and most of the funding is dependent on the professor. Once you see that, you will now go and talk to the professor. And of course, the first thing you have to do is you have to understand the professor's research. You know, like in the case of my PhD, I got the PhD placement without applying because I knew I went to the conference and I saw one Igbo guy. His name is, so if you're doing food science, his name is Chibike Udenigwe. He did biochemistry from UNN. So in the conference, I met him with Rotimi Aluko. Rotimi Aluko did biochemistry masters in ABU. Those guys are top food science guys. When I say top, I mean top. They are top guys. And they are doing biochemistry research in food science. So Rotimi is not doing research again. He's a dean of Research Institute in Manitoba. So all this I'm saying is for people that are in food science, you can attack him. You know, I can send you his personal email if you want. It's on Facebook as well. You can send me a friend request and see if he accepts. So you can also do that. You can also leverage LinkedIn to find them.
LinkedIn is a very good option.
You can also leverage, because I know I found one guy. It's called Namdika Branda. He's also in Manitoba. So I found him on LinkedIn and he accepted. But I'm not interested in that research. So I can send you his email as well. He does research on neuroceticals, and nanoparticles. So you can decide to. So you see that that's even food science and more chemistry than food science. But it's the Department of Food Science. So when you do that, when you check the professors, you try and read this research, know what they do. So if you have ResearchGate accounts, perfect. Go ResearchGate and check his latest article, and then draft an email. I can send you the email I've used, and Mastercard scholars have used to get their own placements. And I'm sure D1 can also share the email templates that he used to get his own, and then, but realize that this getting investor stuff is more of, honestly, I think it's more of luck and favor than sometimes having what it takes, to be honest. Because I've seen students who have 2-1 who shot hot shot in Guelph. The shot is hot. Like, I know a guy who has been following a professor on LinkedIn. Any paper the guy puts, he comments, anything I put. So one day the person now sent him, so he now sent the professor a message. So the person now replied. I said, how are you? And I said, he said it in English studies. So the person said that, yes, he has been reading his comments, that he's interested in a Skype interview. And that's how they did the Skype interview. The guy has 3.6. The professor took him from MSc straight. So sometimes the time you spend on your social media, you can also use it to just comment. Comment. Yeah, you can use it to comment interestingly on like on LinkedIn. People put their paper, so it's just smart just to read the abstract and just talk about it. Yeah, yes, sir. I think this is this. I think this. Like, if you do that consistently, some people would like, so they will engage you. So you're engaging the professors. Once you see your name, you will remember that this person engages my content. Sometimes you can even share his content. It's a new information. If you're interested in this, read this. They see it. So leverage on like social media and engage content. That also can work, because honestly, funding in Canada is small. It's really small. To be honest, it's really small. So, and the people that are looking for the funding, we have plenty. Like we are so plenty. So number 2 that you must realize is that you also have to contact as many professors as you can, but not in the same school department. So I recommend 3 professors maximum in the department. That's my maximum recommendation. So not that you like imagine somebody sending me SOP. He's sending the one SOP, send somebody the same SOP, you know, and then we know together. I'll just call the one, please, you read it. So of us don't have the time to put our input, you know. So I recommend that you contact us 3 people maximum in a department and keep trying. Please don't keep trying. And like the one said, Canada is not the only place for where there's good education. So if you get education in Sweden, you can get PR in Canada and come and do your PhD if you want. So there are dynamics to all this. Just try. There's MasterCard that's on now. Like MasterCard, I know now. I'm saying it. I know people will be discouraged, but MasterCard gives first class almost 95%. Almost 95% of the scholars have first class. In fact, the last year, the kind of scholars that took a MasterCard had 4.93, 4.91, 4.77. They had massive CGPA. So if you're paying for just MasterCard scholarship in Canada and thinking you just get it like that, if you don't get it, you now have to wait for 1 extra year. So if you don't, so apply for plenty. Like me, I applied to Saudi Arabia, to King Fahd, applied to Russia, to Turkey, to China. I was determined to go anywhere. Like,
well, just open eyes when you apply Tokyo.
I was send me anywhere, I'll go. I even applied to an African university in Kenya. So I'm leaving Nigeria to enter another song, but I was willing to go. I was willing to go.
Maybe we shall leave this night. Just say.
I was willing to go. So if you have that open-mindedness, you will get opportunities. Because the thing is that, look at it, the more you stay in Nigeria and grow older, the more your chance of scholarship. No jokes. Because every year, new applicants join the pool and the competition increases.
That's true.
So the faster you get on board, the better for you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So we take one last question from Oluwa Busolami before we leave today. Last question, Oluwa Busolami.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, everybody. So my major question is getting supervisors to like reply you, because most of these admissions, even if you have to apply to even get funding, you need to get a supervisor to reply you. I mean, I followed almost every mail format, every thread, like I've done everything, but they are still not replying. Like it's just like so confusing. I don't know, maybe like there are extra tips to put to get them to reply. I mean, before admission season and before application season.
Are you referring to Canada?
Well, yes, because I don't have GRE. I don't have.
What's your CGPA?
My CGPA 3.83.
Okay. What's your research experience?
Majorly bioremediation, environmental.
So what did you study?
Biochemistry.
Okay. So you know biochemistry. Okay. One problem about biochemistry is that biochemistry in Nigeria is not biochemistry here. I did biochemistry in Nigeria. In biochemistry, we're doing metabolic pathway. Rather, we're doing things that don't hold water. Biochemistry here is DNA, genetics, molecules, small molecules. That's what biochemistry is all about. So the problem is that if you are searching for a supervisor in biochemistry, for instance, with the kind of skills you have, are not even suited for biochemistry. Like typically, they're not the right skills that is even needed for biochemistry. And of course, 3.8 is not a really competitive CGPA. So what I encourage you to do is very simple things. Look at what you want to achieve. Like look at the course you want to study in Nigeria. You can even take days and go to, like, if you're in Lagos, go to Yaba Nigeria Medical Center, or go to Firo and just learn. You don't even have to know it very well. Just have an idea of a few of those stuff and incorporate it in your essay. So what do you mean? So for instance, if you're sending an essay to a person who does, let's say it does something on CRISPR-Cas. Now as a biochemist, have you heard about the word CRISPR-Cas?
No.
Now CRISPR-Cas is the latest technology in DNA science. And a student here, undergraduate, knows CRISPR-Cas. I didn't know CRISPR-Cas until I started doing masters. Until I took a course in food biotech, because I knew I still wanted to have a biochemistry idea. So I took a course in food biotech and I saw CRISPR-Cas. And therefore there's even CRISPR-Cas12. You know, so if you want to send such an email and you're writing essays, typically like everybody, I started to say your research in DNA technology, you know. But what if you say I saw your research where you used CRISPR-Cas to edit the sequence, blah 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 blah, blah. You not say, okay, what about so I was thinking about it in this research, in this experiment. Are there deletions? Were there insertions? Were there mutations? You know, things that would generate another research question for another research, because they are bringing you to come and publish paper. I don't know why students have not realized it. Your job as a student is to produce paper. So if you're able to ask critical questions that are potential paper, in fact, even if you say that I'm thinking about writing a review on CRISPR-Cas and using the ideas from your paper, you know, and can you provide me like some of your database? Those things are inquisitive. He knows that beyond just sending emails, you have done some background homework and you're already showing potential for paper. In fact, your paper potential will get you more funding than your CGPA. I learned that recently. You can position yourself or be, because the only thing about academics is the only game is that publish or you perish. So if you're a student that have a publishable potential, to be honest, if you put that in your emails every time you write, most likely, and of course if you pray and fast, you get something positive. So that's but I know it's difficult to get to that point, so you have to understand, you know, some technologies, but you can start by just register on like some blogs, on Nature blog, you know, WHO blog, blogs for blood, you know, and so that as you're sending emails, and of course, check their research labs, contact their students as well, contact the professor student if you can. They're on LinkedIn, find them on LinkedIn, ask them, I'm trying to work in your lab, what makes the student competitive, you know, what can you recommend me to do? Get internal information from them, and of course, just keep trying. Something might happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I said that was final question. There is a question that we've not answered, which I'll try to quickly talk about. And Aisha asked about the prospect of jobs after graduation in the US. Now, I know PR is getting more difficult in the US because of our current situation, which we are in. We don't know how the Lord will transform things coming next week. We are not sure yet. But one thing again is that there's a part for those of us in the STEM, which is a part whereby is a research part. Okay, one of the qualifications will be that you have publication. There is the EB1, EB2, all those classification of visas, which is not necessarily HB visas, which people generally get when they want to work, because the HB1 visas and all those stuff, we have to be petitioned by even the place where you want to work. Okay, you have to get an employer who is ready to help you to get that type of visa. But the EB1, EB2, all those type of visas, those that you can get yourself being a scientist. And this is basically applicable to scientists, actually. Of course, scientists is a general term. And then what they do is they want to see those who are highly skilled in some certain areas. And those are people that they give that type of visa. And those who have that type is quite easier to transition into permanent residency. And of course, permanent residency is also a function of how many years you have spent. Okay, permanent residence is a function of how many years you have spent. What we are dealing with is citizenship. You can transition using those HB1, EB1, not HB1, EB1, EB2 type of visas to transition. For permanent residency, depends on how many years you have spent, either a permanent resident or non-resident. How many years you have spent. By the time you spend 5-6 years, you're already eligible for it. Okay, and someone who is doing PhD, that time we cover for you. You do PhD for 5 years, and then you become eligible for permanent residence. You get EB1 visa or EB2 visa, depending on whichever one you want to get. They have different criteria, which we'll not look into now. And then you are seen as highly qualified, a scientist. You are seen as someone, you know, the reason why they are putting restriction on all these things is when you hear the word MAGA, what it simply means is that don't give our job to someone coming from outside, okay?
Yeah.
So they now classified places, jobs in the US, for example, where they don't have much hands. Okay, so they now say, okay, let's recruit people from outside who are not citizens to fill those places. And then I tell you, in the US, they need scientists so much. That's why they create those type of visas for researchers who are in the STEM. And many people are diverting their type of research to STEM. That's what I was saying, that what is funded, and that's what determines what they want to fund on it. I think they review it every 10 years, if I'm correct. I'm not so clear about that. So I think it's very easy to transition, especially when you have the PhD, because that's what you will use to apply an advanced degree. Okay, the person should have an advanced degree and all those stuff. And then, of course, clean record is also good. Okay, so that's that about that, Aisha. I think there's prospect. You are doing computer science.
But Sam, is that
Yeah.
visa for only those that have PhDs?
You said?
Is that EB1 visa for only those that have PhDs?
No, I think for masters too, those with masters too can do it. So far, they can prove that they are scientists who have been published. Publishing is a way of proving, actually, proving that you are a scientist, highly skilled scientists. Understand? They are for highly skilled workers. Let me use that word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's different from the general HB1 visa, which is for work, which is as a work visa. Okay. This EB1, EB2, you can do it yourself. The HB1, you must get a job that must be ready to do it on your behalf. And let me tell you, the present man that is there is cutting it so much. If you hear that people from China, if they fight against China, all those stuff, it's because some people can recruit people from China and just give them HB1. A company will just recruit and just give all of them HB1, because, and then it's a political issue. Let's see what happens next week anyway. That will change a lot of things for US, a lot of things, and then to change. Many people who have been moving away from US will actually maybe want to come, or some will want to move away more, depending on what happens. Okay, but that's what that man is trying to fight. He wants to cut those people getting, because they are saying, no, they are taking our jobs. Okay, but EB1 is specialized. EB1, EB2 is they are specialized for highly skilled people. And if you get your MSc, maybe professional MSc or whichever, or get your PhD, you have become a highly specialized, highly skilled worker, scientist. So those are for me, that's the part I'm looking into. Okay, and that's why STEM in the US is very hot, very hot. Okay, so while I'm thanking everyone for attending, I'll just be talking about how easy is it to move to Canada after your program in US. I think it should be quite easy now, Sam. If we want to come to your Canada,
it's the same way to move from Nigeria to Canada.
So it's the same
Canada
way.
So I think Canada is really like it's like applications are very upfront. The same way same chances you have to get PR from Nigeria. Same chance you have to get PR from US, from UK. The same chance.
Yeah.
Like no preference.
I have
Especially
someone who finished from this lab, from physics lab. She's from Bangladesh. So immediately she finished from this lab, she got a job with Triumph Laboratory in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Triumph, yeah. There's a lab there. There's a national lab there. National Radio Research Lab, Nuclear Research Lab there, Vancouver. Triumph, that's the name of the lab. And then she got a job there and she moved. I don't know the details about she moved anyway.
If it's very simple. If you get a job, you apply for a work visa. So the company will give you the offer letter. Then you apply for a work visa.
Yeah.
So if you work for 1 year, then you now move your. Yeah. So if you get a job, of course you can. Of course, why not? Mm-hmm. Of course you can move. Okay,
good. So don't worry. Follow, please. If you are on Twitter, once we leave this, just type it something on Twitter. I love to follow people who are serious-minded. I know you won't be tweeting Yansh and all those stuff around on Twitter. So I will follow everybody. Please follow D1, follow Sam, ask them questions. I beg, make them review your SOP for you. They are very wonderful people. Thanks so much for. Okay, someone is saying, is it possible to try applying for Canada while pursuing a PhD in US? Yes, Aisha, it's very possible. I have a friend who is doing it. I have a friend who is doing it presently.
In fact, I have a friend in Tennessee. It is okay. It's in master. It's in PhD, but the PhD after 2 years to give you a master's while you continue. So he got the master's degree certificate, and then he used it to apply for PR for the wife. If he gets PR, the wife and the child move to Canada, where he will stay.
What are we waiting for before? That's the way to go now.
That's actually.
So use your master's apply while you run the other package.
Yeah, so that the wife will maintain the PR for him, become a citizen. Then when it's done, because if you get a PR, you must stay in Canada 2 years out of 5 years to sustain it, to maintain it.
Yeah.
If not, you lose it.
This my friend does something like transitioning. I think last year December, yeah, he went to Canada from here in Florida. He went to Canada, then came back again. He's just trying to do. So it's very possible, Aisha. I know you love. It seems you have mind for Canada. You are just seeing it like, there is more opportunity in US for this PhD, but Canada, that is where my destination is.
Now, so she's just looking for, first of all, let me move, and then I will transition to the next one.
Yeah, so just move. I know one thing is sometimes our life, we don't always have it all planned straight away. As we move, the next step becomes clearer. As we take another step, the next step becomes clearer and clearer. So that's how
exactly.
Life is generally.
Just stay abreast with immigration. Know what is right now. I want to give one PR. It's huge. So it's something that you can think about. It's huge because I'm sure that, and the reason why is because, to be honest, I have 3 colleagues in my office who doesn't want to give birth. So people here they don't want pumping at all.
Why?
Like they are so, I don't know. I don't know. They don't want to have kids. I don't know.
You don't like stress of kids. Most of them don't like it. So this is why Canada needs 1.3 million people in the next 4 years. If you have seen the updates.
We need it seriously.
Yeah.
So
don't worry. Some of us may move our children to Canada. I'll just carry my 2 boys. So yeah, go Canada. Let's be prepared so that you can add to the population 1.something million minus 2. Okay, thanks so much for attending. We so much appreciate, really, we so much appreciate. God bless you, real good. So hopefully, if all things being equal, next month we meet again. All things being equal. If they are not equal, it will be December. But make sure you have applied to your school by that time. All right.
All right, boss. Thanks, Mr. Samuel. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Isaac, how is work in Germany? Sean Losha, hope they move.
We are just starting with them. They should start paying my money.
I'm talking about work. You're talking about money. See?
Probably what will be from next academic year?
You said?
What could be for next academic year?
Oh.
I have only 1 year coursework. The second is going to be more of research.
Oh, I see. All right. Take care. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.